Why do you wake up tired, even after a full night of sleep? The cause isn't the big things. It's the small ones, the ones that never got to finish. A breath you didn't fully take. A pause you skipped because there wasn't time. The gap between two tasks that you didn't let yourself sit inside. You just opened the next tab instead. This isn't weakness. It's a nervous system that never gets the signal it's allowed to exhale. 7 small Japanese habits. Each one takes about as long as it takes to make a cup of tea. Together, they do something even a 2-week vacation cannot. And there's one quiet condition without which none of them work. I'll get there at the end. Here's what burnout actually is, biologically. Your nervous system has 2 settings: activation, for doing, deciding, responding, and recovery. When food is digested, the body repairs itself. The breath evens out. In healthy days, they alternate in small waves. Hundreds of times a day, the body switches modes and almost never notices it's doing so. Modern life flattens that wave. You wake up already switched on. The phone winds you tighter. Work keeps you running. Lunch is a sandwich eaten on the move. Even the evening scroll, which feels like rest, is the same engine still turning, just at a lower gear. The body never receives the signal that now you can let go, and so it keeps holding everything it gathered through the day. By 3 in the afternoon, you're carrying everything that didn't close. The unread message, the half-thought you never finished, the conversation you wanted to have differently. You go to sleep, and all of it is still there waiting in the morning. You call it burnout. But burnout isn't an event. It's a quiet kind of wear you stopped hearing. Researchers studying chronic stress noticed something specific. Think of your body as a battery. The damage doesn't come from how much you discharge. It comes from never plugging in long enough between uses. Cortisol that should clear in 20 minutes lingers for hours, and the body slowly forgets what calm even feels like. This isn't a willpower problem. You can't force your way out of a state that was caused by too much forcing in the first place. What the body needs isn't a longer break. It needs many small returns to itself, scattered through the day, before exhaustion has the chance to take hold. The Japanese understood this long before there was language for the nervous system, and they had a word for the opposite of this kind of wear. Yōjō, literally nourishing life. Not self-care in the modern sense, something older, smaller, and far more effective. It isn't a routine. It isn't a practice. It's about how you treat your own body across the day. Small acts of return, woven quietly into ordinary moments. Drinking water slowly. Pausing before answering. Letting one breath be longer than the one before it. In Japanese tradition, Yōjō was always seen as prevention, not treatment. The quiet, ongoing care that keeps small wear from ever becoming something bigger, like a recurring back pain or a fog that won't lift. The idea was simple. The body is maintained the way a garden is, a little every day. And what isn't tended in small ways slowly turns into something that needs years to repair. This is why Japanese self-care doesn't look like Western self-care. There's no spa day or wellness weekend. Instead, there's a way of carrying a teacup, of stepping into a house, of beginning a breakfast. The care lives inside the day, not bolted onto the weekend. And for your body, that's the difference that matters. A 2-hour massage once a month is one signal. 20 quiet pauses spread across a day is 20 signals. The body prefers the latter. When the weight gets too heavy, most people reach for one of 3 strategies. None of them works, and here's why. The first is waiting for the weekend. 5 days of pushing, 2 days to fix it. But the tension you built up over 5 days doesn't drain in 2. By Sunday evening, you're barely back to yourself, and Monday begins again from behind. The second is the big intervention, a retreat, a vacation, a new morning routine starting January 1st. These help for a week, maybe 2. By the third week, you feel exactly the way you did before you left. The third is trying to feel better, forcing yourself to relax, counting the breath, meditating with a stopwatch nearby. The body senses the effort underneath, and the parasympathetic system, the one that's supposed to bring rest, never quite switches on. You finish the session as tense as you started. What's missing in all three isn't more time off. It's the smaller kind. Quiet, frequent, almost unnoticed. The kind that slips past the part of you that wants to perform wellness correctly. The 7 habits below come at 3 points of return across your day. Morning, to begin from rest instead of from debt. Day, to keep coming back before exhaustion has the chance to settle in. Evening, the part that lets the rest of it actually accumulate. Plain warm water before anything. Before coffee. Before the phone. Before the day begins. A cup of plain warm water. Drunk slowly, while looking out a window or at nothing at all. In Japanese tradition, this is the first internal signal of the day. The stomach warms. Circulation begins to move. The parasympathetic system gets a gentle wake-up before cortisol has a chance to take over. Coffee skips this step entirely. It goes straight to switching you on, and the day begins from a tense place. You don't need a morning ritual. You need 90 seconds with a warm cup before the first "I have to" of the day reaches you. 1 breath before anything. Before opening the phone. Before stepping out the door. Before the first task of the morning. 1 breath, fully. In through the nose, out a little longer than in. Modern life trained you to move directly from one thing to the next. The body never gets the half-second that says, "That part is finished, the next part can begin." Without that half-second, the day arrives all at once, and you spend hours trying to catch up to a moment you never paused inside. The vagus nerve responds to the longer exhale, and the body briefly remembers it has somewhere to come back to. 1 breath. That's the entire practice. Putting one thing back. Choose one small object on your desk, in your bag, on the kitchen counter, and return it to where it belongs. This isn't about cleaning, it's about a signal. The brain reads visual disorder as low-level threat, even when you've stopped consciously noticing it. One small act of restoring order whispers to the nervous system, "Something here is being taken care of," and the body softens just slightly in response. Forget about organizing the house. 1 pen back in the drawer. The cumulative effect by evening is something you'll feel before you can put it into words. The pause that begins a meal. Before eating, not the whole meal, just the very beginning, pause. In Japan, this pause has a name. Itadakimasu literally means "I humbly receive," but the function is older than the words. Hands together, 1 breath. A small acknowledgement that you're about to eat. It looks ceremonial, but it works like a switch. The brain catches the moment you shift from doing to receiving, and digestion partially activates before the first bite. Without that pause, eating happens in the same state as working, and the body metabolizes the meal accordingly. You don't need to learn the word. 3 seconds of stillness before the first bite is enough to flip the switch. Letting the shoulders drop. In Japanese martial tradition, Datsuryoku describes the deliberate release of muscular tension, power through softness, not through force. The body learns to find the tension it's been holding without realizing, and to let it go. Your shoulders are holding something right now, probably your jaw too. The muscles between the shoulder blades. Tension you can't feel. Once an hour, take 5 seconds. Notice the shoulders. Let them drop a centimeter lower than where they were. Let the jaw soften. The body keeps holding what the mind has stopped tracking. This is the moment of tracking it again, briefly and letting go. The walk that doesn't go anywhere. 5 minutes. No destination, no podcast, no phone call. Outside if you can, and if you can't, the longest hallway you have access to. In Japanese culture, sanpo is neither exercise nor transportation. It's a walk for the sake of walking. The brain, freed from the demand of arriving somewhere, drops into a different rhythm. Studies on rumination show that even short, purposeless walks reduce repetitive negative thinking measurably, more in some cases than seated meditation. Skip the forest. 5 minutes of moving without trying to get anywhere is enough. Doing nothing on purpose. This is the seventh and the one most people skip. Sit down. Don't open anything. Don't pick anything up. Don't plan the next thing. Look at the wall, the window, your own hand, anywhere. For 2 minutes. The discomfort is the point. The mind will reach for the phone, for a task, for a thought to chew on. Let it reach. Don't follow. 2 minutes a day, doing nothing, gives the brain's full default mode, the state where memory consolidates, emotions settle, and the connections you couldn't find while trying suddenly arrive. Morning, day, evening. Water, breath, order, pause. Shoulders, walk, stillness. And here's why the seventh quietly holds everything else together. The first 6 are micro-recoveries. They lower cortisol slightly, return the system briefly to itself, then let the day continue. Useful and necessary. But they don't activate the brain's default mode network. That's the system that consolidates memory, processes emotion, and finishes the work the day didn't finish. Default mode only switches on when there is nothing to do. Not while you're walking somewhere. Not while you're drinking something. Not in the gap between tasks. Only when the brain has nothing to take in and nothing to put out. And modern life almost never lets that happen. This is what Nani mo Shinai does. 2 minutes of genuine purposelessness once a day gives the brain the only state in which the other 6 begin to compound. Without it, each of them lives on its own, never adding up to anything bigger. With it, they stack up, week after week, into a different baseline entirely. It's what the research on chronic stress quietly confirms. People who do many small recovery practices, but never give themselves true purposeless time, improve slightly, then plateau. People who add even 2 minutes of doing nothing keep improving for months. And here's the part that makes all of this fail without one more thing. These habits only work when there's no scoreboard. The moment you start tracking them, optimizing them, judging the days you missed, you've turned care back into performance. The body feels the performance, and the whole effect collapses. Japanese tradition is precise about this. Yōjō isn't measured. It isn't scored. It's done, imperfectly, often forgotten, picked up again without comment. That movement back, without judgment, is the practice, not the habit itself. There's no need to do all 7, and no need to do them every day. Only to begin returning, gently, repeatedly, without keeping count. Yusheng, not self-care as an event. Care as an undercurrent, small enough that the day still flows, constant enough that the body never fully empties out. Burnout isn't the result of a hard year. It's the result of 100 small returns that didn't happen. Each unfinished breath, each ignored signal, each pause skipped because there wasn't time. The wear runs quietly until it's the only thing you can hear. Pick one of the 7 today, the one that sounded easiest. Don't track it. Don't add it to a list. Just do it once when you remember, and let that be enough. Then notice, sometime in the next few days, when something inside settles a fraction. Not because you fixed yourself, because you finally let one small thing finish. One question, and I read every comment. Which of the 7 do you already do without realizing it? And which one feels strangely hard to even start?